Do you love making ice cream at home, but sometimes it doesn't come out quite right and you get tons of ice crystals?
Well, today on WTF, we're going to show you how to use perfect ice cream to make a Parmesan ice cream and a plant-based banana split. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Guerin.
And I'm Janie Wang, one of the owners of Modernist Pantry. Here on WTF, every week we cover unique ingredients, techniques, show you cool new recipes to get you started, or get you further along your culinary journey. And this week we're going to be covering ice cream, and Scott and I both love ice cream, so we're very happy to be talking about one of our products. It's called Perfect Ice Cream. So Scott's going to tell you what perfect ice cream is, what makes it so special that we want to talk about it, and then, as of course, recipes and demos.
Yeah, so we had covered perfect ice cream way back in one of our first episodes, but we never really dove deep into it. It was just an ice cream stabilizers episode. And if you want to see that, you can find the link in the description below. But perfect ice cream is really cool because it allows you to make any ice cream very easily without having to worry about those ice crystals. So ice crystals are kind of the bane of the existence of all ice cream. If you make it ice cream too slow, it's going to get these really large ice crystals, and we're going to feel it on our tongue. It's not going to be creamy smooth like we want from ice cream. But perfect ice cream is a proprietary blend. It has guar gum, a little bit of dextrose, and carrageenan. And the reason why dextrose is in there, some people will be like, well, that's just kind of like a sugar, right? So that's in there for, the guar gum and the carrageenan tend to kind of mute the flavors slightly just because they're gelling agents and they're thickeners. So the dextrose kind of standardizes it, makes it so you don't really notice that the flavors have slightly been muted. But when you use it, it's going to cover up those ice crystals, so when you eat it, it's going to be extremely smooth and creamy. And we made some really cool different things, because usually we're used to sweet ice cream, just sweet, 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 sweet. But today we've made kind of a savory Parmesan ice cream, and we also made dairy-free ice cream. So we made a dairy-free ice cream that you can have that you can use any type of milk. If you want to have soy milk, hazelnut milk is what we chose to use, or any other nut milk, it's going to keep it from having those hard ice crystals that you would get from an ice cream that doesn't have eggs, that doesn't have cream. Okay, and that's a really great benefit, because it's one of the things that people do call and write in a fair amount, like I'm trying to make a dairy-free ice cream, but it's not coming out exactly the way I like it. So it's really cool today that we're covering both a dairy version and a non-dairy version. And I think one of the questions that we also people sometimes talk about is, if I'm trying to incorporate this into my recipe, how do I incorporate it and how much of it do I use? So the best thing that I find when you're using it is just dry mix it with the sugar. That's going to help it disperse super easy. But also you're going to have to heat it. It has to heat to about 180 degrees, just really briefly, so that it is activated. And when it's there, it's completely normal to use. So when you're going about your recipe, you're going to have to heat the cream. You're going to have to heat something. So as long as it gets in there and it heats, it's going to be totally fine. So you don't have to worry about mixing, okay, I have to change my recipe completely. All you have to do is just make sure that if you want to, if you're heating your cream, your milk, whatever it is that you're heating, mix a little bit of it in there, get it going, and it's only going to be used at about 0.5% of the total weight of the recipe. So it's a very small amount to the total weight of the recipe. And you can go even lower. So every recipe is going to be slightly different. Some recipes have higher fat content. Some recipes have lower fat content. So you really want to gauge where you like the mouthfeel, because that 0.5% isn't a hard and fast. You don't have to just use 0.5%, and if you don't use that, it doesn't work. That's not true. It can go all the way down to 0.1%. If you just want, if you have a really tight recipe that works really great, really perfect for you, and you just want to prevent those ice crystals a little bit, maybe 0.1%. Maybe if you're using something that is lower in fat, like we're using over here with our dairy-free, we want to go a little bit higher so that we get that kind of creaminess. So it's all going to be up to your testing and really kind of honing in your recipe, and that's what this is great for. It's versatile, that you can just change it up if you want to. You can use such a small amount, and it just adds such a benefit to your recipe. Yeah. And I know that for this Parmesan ice cream, which I can't wait to taste, we actually originally came up with it a while ago, but we made it in this PacoJet, which is an amazing machine. But it's kind of like something not most people are going to have in their homes, and we got the feedback that people wanted the Parmesan recipe but adapted for a home ice cream machine. So can you talk a little bit about, do you need,
Like, obviously, we all love the Paco Jet. If you don't know what it is, like, look it up. It's awesome. But, you know, like, how does it work with a home ice cream machine? Does it matter what type of model you make? Do you need any special equipment?
So you don't need any special equipment to make this. Actually, all these ice creams that we made with the Perfect Ice Cream, you can make in pretty much the lowest end home ice cream maker. And we did that with these just to be able to make them so anyone could make them. In the Paco Jet, what it does is you're getting on-demand ice cream. So you're not doing the churning. It's doing the churning per serving.
Right.
So it's really amazing. And with the Parmesan ice cream that we originally had, we needed to do that or else it would have separated. But now that we added the Perfect Ice Cream, we actually didn't even have to add eggs to this, which is kind of amazing because generally you would have to have that kind of custard base to hold on to it, but we added the Perfect Ice Cream and we were able to make the ice cream work perfectly, and we've actually held it for a week without any crystallization on top. So that's really nice, really good to see, especially with something that has low sugar content, since it is a savorier ice cream. So this is kind of a really cool recipe. And we actually made something that, if you want to try it, Janie, we made a dairy-free olive oil croissant here. So we took a basic croissant recipe, we removed the butter from it, we removed the milk, and we actually made a olive oil block that we used to laminate the dough with, and we used monodiglycerides for that. So if you want to see the recipe, link in the description below. It's a really kind of cool technique that's different. It allows you to have something that's at least dairy-free. Obviously, we're putting it with Parmesan ice cream here, but the savoriness of the olive oil and the Parmesan go really well. So if you didn't want to use that and you wanted to use a dairy-free ice cream with it, you could absolutely do that. So my suggestion is you rip it apart and put a little bit of the Parmesan ice cream on it so you get that warm and that cold. And you get that slightly sweet and the savory of the olive oil croissant and the Parmesan ice cream. You can see how nicely that's scooped.
I was just about to say. All right.
And that's one thing is people are like, is this going to change my scoopability? Is this going to make it easier to scoop? And in a way, yes. So as long as you're holding it at that nice 15 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, which is optimal for ice cream, it's going to be easier to scoop because it's going to, those ice crystals are going to be covered, and when they're covered, they're going to not, bond together and then make an ice block. So it is going to be slightly easier, but if you're freezing it down to, negative 15 degrees, it's not going to be easy to scoop no matter what you do unless it's like 100% fat.
Yeah, and this was really, really good. I was like, I don't know, croissant with ice cream, but it's delicious. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a weird take. It's sweet and savory, and just a different way to do it. But we also have this, and I really want to show this off because we found a dairy-free ice cream that we really like. And one thing I replaced is generally you don't get enough fat in the dairy-free ice creams, or it comes from a lot of coconut oil that tastes like coconuts. And we used our coconut oil, which has no aroma, so you're allowed to have all that richness, but not having that kind of hit over the head with coconut flavor, which you want it to taste like ice cream. You don't want it to taste like coconut ice cream. So we were able to do that, and we replaced about 30% of the moisture in it with that coconut oil, and it just makes it super rich and really creamy when you add the Perfect Ice Cream as well. So we wanted to make like a banana split. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of our macerated strawberries. Right, so I macerated some strawberries, just a little bit of sugar, tiny bit of salt, and allow the natural juices to come out. Right, so we have these beautiful strawberries, and this is obviously for more than one person, or just one of me.
I believe here they call it an extra small.
So this right here is just some melted chocolate, so this is a high quality chocolate. And in this I also added some of our coconut oil. And the reason why I did that is that when I pour this over the top, it's going to kind of solidify a little bit. So it works just like hot fudge, but you're not having to have any dairy in it. And this is obviously a dark chocolate that I used. So as it goes over the top, it's going to solidify because of the fat that was added to it. And obviously bananas can go around. And we didn't want to do any whipped cream, obviously, because whipped cream has cream in it. But maybe we can work on a whipped cream that is also dairy-free.
Yay. Ooh, that looks so good.
And then obviously the last two things, some walnuts. And more than one cherry, because why not? There we go. Janie, if you want to try, do the
I will
honors.
eat this whole thing.
Yeah, please do.
I'm gonna go with chocolate because that's my favorite flavor.
So what we did with this is we added hazelnut milk. So just water and hazelnuts, and we use that as our water. If you prefer soy milk, if you have an oat milk that you like, you can use any one of those. You just
nice.
replace the hazelnut milk that's in the recipe with the milk that you want. It will work regardless because you're using the perfect ice cream.
Yeah, and that ice cream is really good. So it's totally creamy, no ice crystals. And how many days ago did we make
I made that
this?
3 days ago.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just pop it back in the fridge and it'll last
Yes.
for longer than that. So, you know, like we love perfect ice cream just because it's like a really easy to use ingredient. You just add it into your recipe. You don't need to go crazy or anything, and it will just automatically improve whatever ice cream that you're making, either our Parmesan ice cream, one of these dairy-free ice creams. And as always, you get all the links in the description below for all the recipes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do want to leave your comments, leave your questions, we love hearing from you. It's always fun. And check us out on Instagram. I believe Scott is making the Parmesan ice cream on
Yep.
Instagram.
Yep.
So check that out as well, because this is actually really unique and fun because no one eats cheesy ice creams, but it tastes really good. So we'll see you next week. And from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Garrett. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell so you get notified when we drop a new video.
To get today's recipes and all of our recipes, remember to go to blog.modernistpantry.com where you'll get recipes, ask a chefs, tips and tricks, and more.
And if you haven't already, tell a friend so they know what's going on here at WTF.
And as always, to get any of the ingredients you saw today, you can go to modernistpantry.com to shop.
And until next time, we'll be here in the test kitchen helping you create memorable and magical experiences.